Great wins are set to go against the New York Jets. It's almost a tropical November day here in Chicago. Temperature in the 60s, clear sunny skies. A great day to play football. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Criqui with John Brodie. Today we have the Jets and the Bears. The Jets a tough team to handicap. They've lost 4 games this season by less than 10 points. John, what do you think of the Jets coming into this one?
Well, I really think the 10 points are indicative of the way they've played. However, I think for the rest of the season, the Jet fans can look at their defense to see how it progresses as to what the future holds in store for New York, and it could be very outstanding. Richard Todd's been carrying the load up to now. It's going to have to get out amongst the whole group, because Richard Todd and a great offensive line cannot be the future of the Jets if they want to go to the bowls.
And the secondary will be tested today by a young man who's playing some great football for the Chicago Bears. They're getting a lot of quarterbacking now from Mike Phipps. As you know, the Bears offense has pretty much been Peyton left, Peyton right, Peyton up the middle, but now they can throw the ball.
Well, now they can throw the ball. I think more than Mike Phipps developing, I think the coaches recognized the guy was a good player. Sometimes it takes a man until he's 30 years old to be great. He's one of many. I think you'll see a lot of them. It's going to help not having Walter Payton do all the work.
NBC Sports presents the best of the National Football League, the American Football Conference. Today, from Soldier Field, it's the New York Jets versus the Chicago Bears. Today's game is brought to you by Pioneer High-Fidelity Components. Pioneer, they bring it back alive. By Avis, featuring new 7-day and weekend Super Saver rates. Avis tries harder and succeeds. By Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Chrysler Plymouth, who invite you to see their 1980 models and compare Chrysler engineering to any other cars. Don Criqui with John Brodie, Soldier Field in Chicago, and a great, great day. Temperature in the 60s, clear sunny skies. This old arena again sold out as the Bears are on a tear right now. They've won their last 3 games. They're 6-5 on the year. They think they turned the corner last Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams right here at Soldier Field. They were down 16-0 and came back to win the game 27-23.
Well, I think it's kind of unique that both Tampa Bay and Chicago feel that they have finally beaten a great team when they've beaten the L.A. Rams. The L.A. Rams have been decimated over the whole year. They're not even a 500 ball club. I do think the Bears are playing better and could get into a contending position. And I think if they win 4 of their next 5, they've got a great chance to win their division. But the Bears have been playing sporadically outstanding. What they've been doing is waiting to get behind, having to do the things that they need to do to pull them out and win. Phipps has been getting it done for them. And I'd like to see him start a little earlier, because they're going to stuff the line of scrimmage against the Bears and stop Walter Payton.
Neil Armstrong is very optimistic about his team's playoff chances right now. He thinks the Bears are hitting their peak in performance levels. The Chicago Bears ready to go, and across the way, Walt Michaels talks things over with some of his New York Jets, Joe Klecko and Greg Buttle, his 2 best defensive players. Don Criqui with John Brodie back at Soldier Field in Chicago. Jets have the ball second time now.
I think they do, and you know, I've played here for 15, 17 years. I never saw a day that was over 40 degrees out here. This is 70. I feel like I'm in Miami.
Tropical, man.
And it's nice.
Couldn't be better. Right now, the Jets are ready to go. 1st and 10. They have the ball inside their 14-yard line. There's no score on the board. Both teams with a single possession. The Jets now starting out for a second time. Todd hands off. Clark Gaines runs, and those Chicago Bears shoot gaps very quickly. The safeties come up. That was Plank, the Ohio State safety, 46. Who puts a hit on, and again the Jets are stopped on a short carry. The Jets are the #1 rushing team in the NFL, and that's the reason why right there primarily. Ward and Powell, 2 superb young tackles. Powell might be as good as there is right now, the right side. Rasmussen, the 13-year veteran at 1 guard. Dan Alexander, who wasn't permitted a sack or had a holding penalty called on him all year, the other guard. Fields is the center. Running wide is Scott Durkee, and again the Chicago Bears make the play. Mike Hartenstein, number 73. A 5th-year defensive end from Penn State comes across, and the Jets are having a problem attacking the Chicago defense.
Yeah, but what you'll notice on all those wide plays is you'll see either number 45 or number 46. In this case, it was Doug Plank up to make the tackle. Earlier, it was Gary Fensick. They are going to have 8 men at the line of scrimmage. Both these fellas are real good hitters. If they have strengths, this is where it is. Alan Page, for years, has been one of the outstanding defensive linemen in the game. He gets knocked down, but it doesn't do anybody any good. Joe Fields did his job. The halfback picked up the slack.
On 3rd and 10, Todd throws, and he has a man. Bobby Jones comes back at the ball at the 25-yard line, makes the reception. So a 3rd and 10 throw is on the numbers as Jones comes back at the ball. Number 89 didn't play college football, and he makes the big first down catch.
Bobby Jones didn't play much ball at all, but he's an outstanding athlete, a 4.5 sprinter in the 40. He's the kind of fellow that's very well disciplined, even though he hasn't played much football. Had he not come back for the ball, it would have been an incompletion. As it was, they're still on the move.
1st and 10 Jets. Here's a whistle. Will stop play. Richard Todd comes into the game with a 52% completion average, thrown for 11 touchdowns. He's been intercepted 16 times. The linebackers for Chicago, Muckensturm, Hicks in the middle, Gary Campbell, a free agent out of Colorado, might be their best one, 59 on the right side. Now Clark Gaines dances, looks for a place to go, and swings out to the 30-yard line. On a 1st and 10 carry, he advances the ball 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Doug Plank made the stop. In the secondary of Chicago, Terry Schmidt, free agent, played at New Orleans before, and Alan Ellis, UCLA cornerback, on either side, with Fensick and Plank the safeties.
Well, Fensick and Plank we've talked about. Terry Schmidt's come on very fast in the past year, and Alan Ellis is an all-pro player that's starting his first game in quite a while. I think you'll see the ball go in his direction most of the day, just to check.
The handoff, and the Jets run the ball. Harper drilling and working and swinging off to the left side, drives it out close to the 35-yard line. On a 2nd down and 6, he got about 4. He'll spot the ball short of a first down.
Chris Ward, excellent offensive tackle, knocks Hartenstein out of the way, allows the back to get through, pick up a 5-yard gain. The Jets have been doing this all year, and so it's to nobody's surprise that they can control the ball on the ground. However, Plank's coming up. He's made 4 stops already.
They really hit. The Chicago safeties play the run as well as anybody around. Chicago fans who have not seen the Jets, their best pass catcher, Wesley Walker, went out in the Houston game October 28th with an injured right knee. Fortunately, it will not require surgery, but he's been out since then. And he's one of the fastest players in the league, and he can catch it when he gets out there, averaging 25 yards a reception. Led the NFL in yardage per catch last year, so they've lost a big deep threat, just as Chicago has with James Scott out. And Golden Richards also down for Chicago, the 2 starting pass catchers on the flanks. On 3rd and a yard, Richard Todd calls his own number, puts his head down, takes it across the top, and he has a first down for the Jets, John. Ball's out to the 37-yard line. No score on the board. We have 8:23 left to play in the first quarter. New England has just gone in front of Baltimore 6-0. Brogan threw to Stanley Morgan for 25 yards, extra point block. They're putting the excitement back in the extra point around the league. Scott Durking runs, bowls his way ahead across the 40. The Jets game plan seems to be pretty fundamental here, John. Drive it right at Chicago.
It has been all year. They're an outstanding offense. They don't throw the ball very much unless they have to. They can actually control a football game at the line of scrimmage offensively. They're one of the few teams in football that can do it. And I think, you know, we've talked about their fine tackles, but Dan Alexander is the prototype of an outstanding guard. He's come on all year long. Joe Fields has been outstanding. Sometimes when an offensive lineman is steady and good, he gets no recognition. If you don't hold a lot, you hardly get noticed these days.
2nd down and a long 5. Richard Todd takes a look, fires down the middle. He's got a man open, and again little Bobby Jones comes back at the ball. He's taking the Chicago corners deep, and then with his very quick moves is cutting right back like Biletnikoff used to do at Oakland at the quarterback and making the catch. That for 18 yards.
Well, actually, you know, he's taking on Alan Ellis. They would like to find out if Ellis is as good as he was. He hasn't played for 10 weeks. It's like training camp for him. He's tried to make the comeback. It's a run-pass situation. He's got plenty of room to throw the ball. He throws it low, and they pick up a first down.
They do indeed. 1st and 10 for the Jets. The Chicago crowd starts up now. Handoff goes to Clark Gaines, and again the Jets take the ball at Chicago with the run, advance it inside the 35-yard line down to the 33. Walter Payton has gained more yards coming in than the two starting Jet runners combined, but the Jets play 4 running backs. They all average over 4 yards a carry. 2nd down and 5 now for the Jets. No score on the board, but the Jets driving the ball downfield with the running game. Now Todd's going to mix it up. He's looking at Barkham. Throws to the end zone. Barkham. Did he get in? Touchdown Jets.
He got in.
Jerome Barkham, his tight end, had the quick inside release, and he had that linebacker beaten. A 19-yard play for a touchdown, and the Jets are on the board.
Had to be a fine throw by Todd because it was a zone defense. One of the few zone defenses you'll see once the ball gets inside the 25-yard line. He throws it over the head of the linebacker, who is in no position to make the play, Campbell. Then he steps in front of Ellis. The ball crossed the line. Whether his feet ever touched the end zone is irrelevant. The ball was across the line, and that is what's needed.
So Barkham, who's had his injury problems on the extra point attempt, here's a penalty marker down, makes his 3rd touchdown reception of this season out of Jackson State. He had it beaten, and he broke the plane of the goal line, crossing in. So Todd throws for his 12th touchdown this season, and the Jets coming in as an underdog.
Hey, we got
Go up on the board first, 6-0. They'll try it again. Call is on the defense.
You know, we're looking at Jerome Barkham, Don, and he's been the kind of guy that came into this league with a bang. As over the past 5 or 6 years, what he's done is become an all-purpose football player. He's allowed the Wesley Walkers to get deep, the Gaffneys to run fine patterns. You notice when Bobby Jones comes in, they are. You said they put the interest back in the extra point.
The excitement is back in. Tony Linhart's now missed his last 3, and that's a big extra point. They all are early. Mike Spivey, 47, looked like the guy that slapped it down.
Okay, Spivey's coming from the outside left. Perfect angle, gets his hands outstretched. I don't think that ball would have been blocked had it not been for an outstanding play by Spivey.
So there's a break in the action at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Jets have taken the lead 6-0, and we'll be back to have that good discipline going. Now it's 1st and 10 for Chicago at the 34-yard line of the Bears. Jets lead 6-0. Walter Payton. That's Convoy out in front. Payton takes it around the corner. And they give a full shot to Walter as he goes right into the bench. Schaefer Suggs, who will stick people. Strong safety from Ball State in Indiana. Power hitter, 23. Gets Walter. What a back. Neil Armstrong was saying before the game, John, what people don't recognize about him, at 205 pounds, he is a punishing runner. He hits people when he runs with the ball.
Yeah, and I think the most amazing stat is that of the top 10 rushers in the National Football League history, the minimum amount of years that any one of them have played is 8. Now, he's about 5th or 6th in all-time rushing, and he's in his 5th year. I mean, 5 years is not very long to establish 6,000 some odd yards.
Right, well over 6,000. Closing in on 7. Phipps throws, he's got Watts open. And so the Bears go to the pass and execute it very nicely. And here's a penalty marker down. And we're going to have a late hit. Unnecessary roughness on the New York Jets. And so the Bears will be beneficiaries of more than just the pass yardage. They'll get penalty yardage tacked on.
Well, that's what I like about throwing the ball around. A lot of good things can happen. People have said that when you put the ball in the air, two out of 3 of the things that can happen are bad. That, in my opinion, is baloney. You can make things happen bad from anywhere, but you can also have things happen good for you. He's got the cornerbacks concerned about throwing the ball to the outside. They're getting a little frustrated, trying to come up a little quicker, trying to hit him a little harder, intimidate him. As a result, they're continuing to drive down the field.
This, of course, is an NBC doubleheader game, and boy, is there a good one coming up. Pittsburgh, and are they something? Against the San Diego Chargers, an 8-3 team. Looks like they're headed for the playoffs. The Steelers at 9-2, and they're playing on the Chargers' home field at San Diego. Someone said, John, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers right where you want them when you have them right off your schedule.
Yeah, you said it. I think it's pretty accurate, too.
They are something. At the middle of the 3rd quarter, most teams are waiting for the final gun to go up against them. They rattle a cage and turn them loose. And here is a run now. Dave Williams turns the corner, gets it inside the 30 and down to about the 28-yard line. On a 2nd down and 5 carry, he advanced the ball 3 yards. Johnny Lynn, the right side corner, on the stop for the Jets.
Things are going pretty well, Don, when you start utilizing all the people on your offense. I know they had a little discussion 3 or 4 weeks ago, Avellini and Phipps, with the coaching staff, and just maybe to that effect, and it seems to have had some hold. And if the early part of this ball game is an indication, the Bears may be on the rise.
Well, there's optimism here in Chicago. This team was booed a lot earlier in the season, but they're back in the Bears today. 3rd and 2. Phipps goes to the run. Payton eludes tacklers. Look at this play football. Walter Payton takes it inside the 25-yard line down to the 23. And gets a salute from 57,000 at Soldier Field. Burgess Owens knocks him down.
And Marty Lyons made a pretty good play to try and force Walter Payton. You can see this is Lyons. He gets in there, he thinks he's got the play stopped. Usually when you force a back like that out of his route, he can't get back to the line of scrimmage on a short yardage situation. Payton may be the only back in the league that can do it outside of Earl Campbell.
He runs and he runs. Time after time he's hit and drilled, and he's always up, he's always in the lineup. Not only is he great when he's there, he's always there. 1st and 10 now. Phipps hands off, and there goes Sweetness again. Turning the corner on the right side. That convoy again out in front. And Walter Payton drives the ball down inside the 20 on a 1st and 10 carry. Buttle finally knocks him down, but he gets some big guys out in front of him. He's got 2 friends there. Noah Jackson at 275, the left guard, and Revy Sori at 265, the right guard.
Now, they've run both sides of the offensive line. Their linemen have pulled equally well to both sides. They've run it up the middle, and they've been able to do so easily because they've thrown the ball on 1st down, and they've thrown it effectively.
We have Lynn Bodine out in front, and there is Sori also in. Lick out in front. Give that destroyer escort to Walter Payton. Now the Bears are driving. It is 2nd down and less than a yard. They're inside the 15-yard line of the Jets. Jets lead the game 6-0. Payton goes up the middle. He gets stuck. Gets down to the 12. I don't know if he got there, John.
Well, I think he got there because I think Dennis Lick had pretty good penetration at the line of scrimmage, moved the man off far enough. He didn't make a whole lot once he got touched, but the line of scrimmage was won again by the Bears.
Richard Todd has thrown very well for the Jets in that drive that took them to their touchdown. He is 3 for 3 for the day, 49 yards and the 1 touchdown from 19 yards out to his tight end Jerome Barkham. A blocked extra point, and that's all the scoring we've had through some 14 minutes of this football game. 58 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. Clock running. Phipps brings his team out on 1st and 10 at the Jet 13-yard line. Mike Phipps, deep drop into the end zone. Player is there. Dave Williams goes up for the ball but can't hold on. Buttle, the left side linebacker, covering the first back out. Dave Williams, so it's allowed out. 2nd down and 10.
I don't know if the sun was in his eyes at all. It looked as if he didn't find the ball as easily as he would like to have, but the ball was perfectly thrown. That, okay, see the reaction? Williams goes, hey, man, I couldn't see it. And you can see the sun is coming right over the corner of this stadium at this time. They don't have sun in Chicago. These guys aren't accustomed to playing in this stuff.
Hey, November 18th, closing in on 70 degrees out here. People have their shirts off, some of them. 2nd down and 10 now for the Bears. They trail 6-0. Phipps takes a look at that end zone again. He's looking at Watts. Now he's got to hurry, and he's got a problem. Phipps goes down. Marty Lyons, number 93, the Bears' #1 draft choice, the man that Bear Bryant called our best player on Alabama's national championship team of a season ago. Starting to come on. The Jets, as you see, having trouble with the sacks. They haven't had many, but they're getting more as the season progresses.
Well, I think you credit that one to the defensive secondary. They played the ball very well. It was a pattern with 5 men in it. All of them were covered. There was no one to go to, and Phipps, he could have elected to throw it out of the end zone. I think it would have been an easier field goal situation, but sometimes you try and make a good play when things are going well for you out of a bad situation.
Thought that was interesting also, John, your observation earlier about a lot of times the quarterback isn't throwing well. Maybe he is throwing well, but the secondary's got everybody covered. Nobody's open. There's Watts. He's open. It's a touchdown.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Mike Phipps drilling the ball on the numbers. Ricky Watts, who caught 6 last week for 147, catches 1 for 21, and a touchdown, and we're tied up at 6.
Well, the touchdown, that's fine, but the way he ran the pattern was outstanding. We've got it for you. Watch this. He goes down the field. He actually convinces Lynn that he's going inside. When he does so, Lynn's got help inside. They're playing back there. He's got help from a free safety, but he convinced him. When he did, he made the break to the outside. He kept his head to the inside. That'll fool a lot of defensive backs. Phipps puts the ball right on the break. It's very easy to throw to a guy that runs a pattern that well.
Watts came in as a recognized great potential player. Second-round draft choice out of Tulsa. And now Bob Thomas hits the extra point, something the Jets could not do. And so Chicago takes the lead 7-6 with just a second left to play in the first quarter. The aerial view of Soldier Field, built in 1919. It's the oldest football stadium in the National Football League. And we're going to be back at Soldier Field with the peristyle looming off in the background. The Chicago Bears leading the Jets 7-6. All right, good one going there. Cleveland Browns leading the game 7-0 and Moriarty's touchdown run. We go to scrimmage now. It's going to be 1st and 10 for Chicago. Bears lead 7-6 early in the second quarter. Mike Phipps, hands off. Carrying ahead is Dave Williams, the other running back in the alignment with Walter Payton. He drives across midfield and down to the 48-yard line of the Jets. Here we go. Washington moving out in front of the Dallas Cowboys 7-0. Joe Theismann to John McDaniel, 4 yards for the touchdown. Buffalo and Green Bay tied up 3-3 on field goals by Burney for Green Bay and Mickemeyer for the Bills. And now Baltimore moving in front of New England 7-6. The extra point was good for the Colts. New England's was not. Philadelphia's leading St. Louis 3-0. Second down and 7. Walter Payton turns the corner. Looked like he was going to go down to the line of scrimmage. Then he put that hand down, got 3 yards ahead, and they'll advance the ball pretty close to the 45-yard line. Bring up third and about 5. Tony Franklin hit a field goal for the Eagles to give them the lead in that game. He's the guy that kicked one 59 yards last Monday night in the upset of Dallas. Today's first was 23 yards. We have 12:03 to play in the first half. Bears with the ball, leading the game 7-6. Third down and a long 5 coming up. Phipps throws, Walter Payton catches, and he pays. Turned his back to Buttle, and Buttle drills him hard in the ribs. Oh, this looks like a shoulder. Uh-oh.
Don, I think he got hurt when he hit the ground. It wasn't when he made contact with the defender. He got the ball about 1 yard short of the first down. And this is something that Chicago Bears have never been able to afford. But right now,
well, Buttle, the guy that hit him, is one of the hardest tacklers in football, one of the cleanest. He just has that ability to unload. He hits like a knockout puncher.
I hate to sit there and I don't want to play doctor, but that doesn't look like one of those shoulder separations. It looks like one of those dislocated jobs. He was starting to jump. It's not a good sign, no matter what it is.
Well, we'll just hope that Walter will be up when we come back with the score here at Soldier Field. Bears 7 and the Jets 6. Here at Chicago, back to live action. It's 4th down and 2, and Bob Parsons, who hit a good punt his first time, will try another now. Hits it from midfield. High, arcing punt. Angling for the side. It's going to take a hop down inside the 5-yard line, and it's downed at the 1 by Brian Baschnagel. Superb play by the Chicago Bears on special teams.
Sure, Baschnagel made a fine play, but it all started off when Schubert got down in the end zone, occupied a block. When you have good punt coverage, you've got 2 or 3 fellas around the ball. When Schubert got down there first, it absorbed the block, allowed Baschnagel to go in and grab the ball on the first bounce untouched. Good kick and good coverage.
And good football coming up Thanksgiving Day here on NBC. Texas football. 2 playoff-bound teams, the Oilers and the Cowboys, lock up at Irving, Texas. That's at 3:30 Eastern time. It all gets underway on Thanksgiving Day. And now the Jets have a problem. 1st and 10 from their 1-yard line. The lone setback is Kevin Long, and the Bears are all over him. Long gets the carry, but Chicago's left side with the linebackers coming over the top knock him down.
And Hampton made an outstanding play. He penetrated past the line of scrimmage, got a piece of the back. When he did so, almost got him for a safety.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Chicago Bears and the National Football League is prohibited. They're really starting up here in Chicago now. Sold out Soldier Field. The Bear defense has the Jets backed up to their 1. Second down and 10. End off again up the middle. A little bit more, but not much.
I'll tell you, Doug Plank came flying out of his secondary position. He landed 6-7 yards in the end zone. You talk about your offense exciting your defensive people. Now, people in Chicago have been used to defensive football winning for them. They've been winning close games, and when they play, you know, their opening game was 6-3 against Green Bay, all right? and they've been playing that way even though they've had to come back late most of the year. Today they haven't done so. They got a little lead. They pumped up the crowd and the defense, and it's going to be a long day for New York.
It could be tough right now. It's 3rd down and 8 for Richard Todd and the Jets. He has men out on either flank. He goes to the no. He's going to throw the ball. He puts it up. He's got a man open for a first down. Derek Gaffney dancing off the right flank, comes over the middle and beats the corner and gets behind the linebackers. It's a big gainer on 3rd and 8 from the Jet 3-yard line. Todd throws a perfect strike to Derek Gaffney.
And that's beautiful. That's taking care of a crowd reaction right there. It looks like a situation where they're going to try and run the ball. Instead, he throws the ball for a 19-yard gain from his own end zone, puts it right on the money, and keeps their drive alive.
We've just had a good report from the Bears sideline. Our producer Ken Edmondson just checked with the Chicago physician, and they expect that Walter Payton will be back in the football game. Here is the handoff. Running with the ball up the middle is Clark Gaines on a 1st and 10 carry. He gets 3. So the Jets get out of trouble on the big 3rd down throw. Richard Todd to Derek Gaffney. Todd throwing the ball extremely well. He was an Alabama quarterback. A lot of Bear fans might not be that familiar with Richard Todd. He was a running quarterback at Alabama. Played very well in the Senior Bowl and was one of the top people drafted in the 1st round when he came out of Bama 4 years ago. 6'2". He's got his weight down to about 208. Very strong. They don't want him running, but the coverage is there, and he's in trouble. He can advance the ball himself. Here is Clark Gaines taking it up the field. Hits across the 30 on a 2nd down and 7 carry, but there's a penalty marker in.
And it was thrown right in the area where you expect holding.
So we'll see now as they make that determination. It's like they're talking to Chicago Bears, and the Jets are falling back with 8:42 left to play in the 1st half. It's been a good one here at Soldier Field. The Jets scored first, drove the ball downfield. Richard Todd threw a perfect strike to his tight end, Jerome Barkham, 19 yards, touchdown. Then the Bears came back on a superbly executed
holding number 65.
Joe Fields, a center, they got in a hole. Bears came back, went 77 yards in 11 plays. Phipps to Ricky Watts for the touchdown, 21.
All right. It's designed as a trap. Joe Fields stands Alan Page up at the line of scrimmage. You can see he gets his hand underneath a little bit. Evidently the official didn't like the play, gave him a 15-yard holding call.
Bears send a lot of people to the line of scrimmage now on 2nd down and about 18. Todd throws downfield. It's intercepted by Chicago, but there's a penalty marker down.
And the penalty marker was thrown because the man that intercepted the ball, I think, interfered with Gaffney's opportunity to catch the pass. It was a man-to-man coverage with 2 free safeties deep. He's got him all over the field. And I tell you what, maybe I'm wrong.
Pass interference, number 81.
All right.
Decline the penalty. 1st down.
We'll file my viewpoint because what it was a man-to-man coverage where Gaffney actually interfered with Schmidt. I could not see the play. I saw it thrown in that area. Schmidt had to have made an outstanding play. Not only did he draw a penalty, but he came up with an interception.
Todd takes a look over the middle. He had good success there earlier, remember, when he went to Gaffney when he needed 8 yards from his own 3 for a 1st down. He got him, but this time the Bears dance in, step up, and up for the interception.
You know, did you see that picture? That's the view a quarterback actually sees when he's going to throw the ball. Nothing but elbows and helmets. And when people wonder why there are some open receivers running free down the field and the quarterback didn't see him, that was a pretty good exposure of it.
So cornerback Terry Schmidt makes the interception, and the Chicago Bears, leading the game 7-6, are set to go again.
Walter Payton, you can see on the sideline, is a little antsy to get back in the ball game.
Good to see him up and ready. They had him on the bench for about 30 seconds. He was up, ready.
He is one of the last of the war horses.
He wants that football. 3rd and just 12 inches to go for the Bears' 2nd touchdown. Jets dig in. Let's see. Dave Williams goes over the top, and he's there. Running back Dave Williams takes it over the top for the Bears' 2nd touchdown. They extend their lead now to 13-6.
And the reason for it may have been the timeout that Phipps called in a critical situation. Last week, twice in similar situations, they got called for not getting the play off within 30 seconds. The clock ran down on them. Sometimes that happens when they send the plays in from the bench, and you wouldn't have a 3rd and 1 foot situation where Williams scores a touchdown. Phipps has been on top of things. He's played the way a lot of people have expected him to play and saw him play in Cleveland in years past. It's nice to see him have an opportunity to be on top of the game.
We'll return to Chicago with the Bears kickoff in a moment.
Chicago 14, Jets 6. Late word is that Walter Payton is injured and out of the game. We'll check that for you. Dave Williams scored from 1 yard out. Phipps 21 yards to Ricky Watts. Todd DeBarkham 19 yards. The Jets now missed 3 straight extra points.
And of course, a reminder again that the Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Diego Chargers are coming up as the second game on most of these NBC stations on a doubleheader day. John, you know, they talk a lot about quarterbacks throwing form. What does that mean to you? Anything? Is there such a thing that differentiates greatly the way they release the ball?
I think all that takes place in junior high school, and college. And I think the kind of discipline and coaching you get in the pro leagues is your steps. I think you primarily throw the ball with your legs, and anybody that makes the proper movement with their legs, in my opinion, will have a natural throwing motion. And once it's natural, I don't care where it comes from, as long as it gets around there, it's going to do the job.
Ed McGlasson's a new snapper. The ball is down and good. Linhart takes a spinner, but he doesn't get there. So the Jets from the place kick come up short again. Extra point missed today, 2 missed last week, and Linhart needs a friend over on that sideline.
And he's having a little trouble finding one right now.
John Free gives him a pat in the back, the Jets' longtime business manager. John's going to retire this year. He could write a book on his stories. One time he had to sit on Jerry Philbin's chest while the team doctor pulled his shoulder back into place. It made such a noise that John passed out right on Philbin. Had to tend to John.
Was the pain from the sitting or the pulling?
The noise got John. Philbin stayed awake. 1st and 10. Chicago Bears with the ball at their 26. 11 seconds to go in the first half. They're going to take their winnings to the locker room. 14-6. They run the ball at the Jets. Robin Earl drives it ahead. So the Chicago Bears, who went down 6-0, are now leading Walt Michaels and his New York Jets 14-6. Michaels head down, and you think they're not loving all this weather in Chicago in mid-November.
Well, you see Walt Michaels with his head down. The kicking game has actually changed the way the Jets have to play it. They've got to do a few more things than they would have had to if the score was 14-10 at half, because this game has been very evenly played, and I look for the same thing in the second half. Neil Armstrong has to be happy. All of a sudden, he's seen his offense come into being a group, and that group is one that's composed of all the people on the offense, not just a Walter Payton.
Neil Armstrong has an interesting history in pro football. He was 6 years a coach at Edmonton in the CFL, of course, was one of the top assistants to Bud Grant of Minnesota. In his 15 years in the NFL as a coach and as a player, he's been in the playoffs 11 of those 15 years, so he knows something about going to the extra season. Right now, he has his Bears in the lead 14-6. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Chicago Bears 14, the New York Jets 6. Both these quarterbacks throwing the ball well. Richard Todd out of Alabama, Mike Phipps out of Purdue. His team won 27 college games with him at quarterback. Then that famous trade, Paul Warfield went to the Miami Dolphins and the Cleveland Browns in return for the Dolphins' top pick in the draft, and it was Mike Phipps. A lot of lean years. In fact, he really hasn't played, John, regularly in almost 2.5 years. Missed all of the '76 season. But you were saying that getting that early 30s and players are at their peak physically and, of course, know the game.
Well, some get into another line of work and others come on, but it's the turning point for Mike Phipps, and it looks like he's turning in the right direction. He's wanted to be a first-line player for a long time, and it looks like he is becoming one. 4 games do not make a career, but they sure give you a good indication when all 4 of them have been excellent ball games, and he's in the middle of having a 5th.
Well, he had an interesting observation after the Bears came back from a 16-0 deficit to beat the Rams last week here in Chicago. Phipps said, one of the important things about this game is the first time we've won a game without depending solely on Walter. They did it with the pass last week.
And I think it's also an impressive factor in this game. Walter Payton got hurt, remember, when they were ahead 7-6. And in the middle of a drive going down. From that point on, Phipps took them in. I think Watts has helped them immensely. They didn't expect the kind of help they have been given out of him. He's caught, you know, when a kid catches 10 balls in a game and a half and over 200 yards, he's done some producing. Now you can see these 2 backs are going to be very sorely needed. Both Payton and Williams being hurt a little bit in the first half. It's questionable whether they're coming back, but it almost looks as if the Jets are going to come after you. You better do something offensively, and we see that neck brace around Payton's neck. It looks as if he's gearing up to go.
Well, with Walter Payton's 22 yards in the first half, he now is just short of 6,500 career yards in just 5 seasons. He's 9th on the all-time list. But we're told he could come back in the game after getting his shoulder banged up following a pass reception. He did not play much of the second quarter. Linhart kicks off for the Jets. And way back is Len Walterscheid down the far sidelines. He takes a dive over the 15-yard line. Tom Newton was down to make the play on special teams, number 44 for the Jets. So we're set to go now with the Chicago Bears on offense.
Games. Big ball game going on in Chicago, too. The Bears and the Jets, 2 teams with playoff hopes going at it. 14-6. Bears out in front early in the third period, but so far been a costly game. Walter Payton has been rushed to the sidelines with a shoulder injury. What's the report, Mike?
Well, apparently we thought it was a shoulder injury. However, looking at the monitors, we have seen that Walter is now sporting a neck brace, so perhaps something is wrong with his neck. The Jets figured to win this ball game because of their outstanding offensive line, perhaps the best in all of football. And it was going to be that way early on when Todd found Jerome Barkham in the end zone for this score. However, Tony Linhart's extra point was blocked by Mike Spivey, number 47. And the Bears took advantage as Mike Phipps later on found Ricky Watts, the rookie out of Tulsa, for 21 yards. He beats cornerback Johnny Lynn there. Extra point was good. The Bears led 7-6. Richard Todd went back to pass in the second quarter. He was looking for Derek Gaffney. Instead, Terry Schmidt, the cornerback, picks it off, and it sets up this 1-yard touchdown run by Dave Williams to give Chicago a 14-6 lead. Willie McClendon has replaced Walter Payton in the Chicago backfield. He's a rookie out of Georgia who has looked very good, but he is no Walter Payton. Let's hope there's nothing serious.
And I think we got to nominate Tony Linhart as Walt Michaels' least favorite person. The last 2 weeks, 3 missed extra points and a missed field goal. Not too good. Also, updating that Miami-Cleveland game, the extra point was good. Dolphins out in front of the Browns 10-7. Okay, 2 of the NFL's...
This is Don Criqui with John Brodie back at Soldier Field in Chicago. The Bears coming back from a 6-0 deficit. Take a 14-6 halftime lead as Phipps again playing superior football at quarterback, mixing his offense. He lost Payton for much of the second quarter with a shoulder injury. He could be back, but the Bears are cooking right now. For more on NFL 79 this week of play, let's go to New York now where Brian Gumbel is standing by.
Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamley at NFL 79 in New York. Even as the Bears lead the Jets at halftime, Cleveland's out in front of Miami, and the Patriots are romping in Foxborough. We'll have scores and highlights, plus a special report from NBC News updating the crucial situation going on in Iran. We'll have interviews with some of the hostages. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
The Bears will go 1st and 10 with Mike Phipps at quarterback. His wide receivers are Brian Baschnagel and Ricky Watts, who caught a touchdown pass in the first half. The running backs have been changed up. Willie McClendon has been going in there now. He's in at the moment playing behind Dave Williams. Williams is playing fullback. McClendon the deep back in an eye set. 1st and 10 for Chicago. Pitch back goes to Willie McClendon. He likes that fuzzy concrete, that artificial turf. Turns quickly on it.
You hit that right. Fuzzy concrete is a perfect description. We take a look at the tight end. Now, he's on a man that is very tough to handle in Buttle. Buttle's been an outstanding linebacker. You see him in very few tackles because very seldom do people try him. They've got a young defense, the Jets do, and they just soon go other areas.
Mike Cobb, 250-pound tight end, number 87 out of Michigan State, blocking well on Buttle. But the resultant gain was only about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 now for Chicago. 14-6 the Bears lead. We're early in the third quarter, Soldier Field. Bears with 3 straight victories. 6-5 on the year. Handoff goes to McClendon, open field, and McClendon's in a foot race now. He's across the 40. Cuts back, and McClendon crosses midfield. Willie McClendon, a quick back from Georgia, is finally brought down by Schaefer.
Yeah, it was a terrific job. But the key was that Stan Blanca, the middle linebacker, who's the guy that makes most of their tackles, was handled. You expect your middle linebacker to get into a position to make the play. Here's Blanca. Dan Neal makes a great play on him. Seals him off, doesn't allow him to get to the point of attack. That's the way your backs pick up 25 and 30-yard gains. Good job on McClendon's part. Great job on Neal's part.
So the Bears come out with the big gainer, a 33-yard gain from scrimmage, and now Chicago has the ball 1st and 10 at the Jet 48-yard line. Pitch back. This time they go to Williams. Abdul Salam rides him down. Hiller 76, Salam 74, Klecko 73, and Marty Lyons 93 across the defensive front of the New York Jets. Buttle, Blinka, and McKibben back the line, as Mike Phipps is using a lot of different plays in offense now. He's gone to a lot of people in his backfield. They've all seen the football. He's mixed up his throwing. Miami's come from behind now in the third quarter to take the lead over Cleveland. Delvin Williams on a touchdown run. Dolphins leading 10-7 early in this third quarter. Second down and a long 7 for the Chicago Bears. Walter Payton back in there, ready to go to work, and Payton delivers a first down carry. Schaefer Suggs runs him down, so Walter Payton is very well indeed as he takes the ball for a first down.
Well, you know, there's a big difference between a shoulder separation and a dislocated shoulder. Now, he's had shoulder problems all year long, Don, and when that shoulder goes out, it's one of the most painful things in the world. But the pain subsides and you can go back and play. It could go out again. He's not showboating. He's a hurt individual at the time, but he makes a miraculous recovery about 2 times a week because that thing goes out a lot.
Which is the one you can play with, the dislocated shoulder?
Yeah, once they stick it back in, it just hurts.
Send you right back out, huh? First down and 10 now for Chicago at the 38-yard line of the Jets. Phipps swings it out. A little bit too much on it for Walter Payton, and he was looking around at those linebackers, too. You recall that when he banged up the shoulder, he caught a pass swinging out, made the turn, and Buttle hammered him.
Okay, now that we're starting to pick up yardage on first down, now he goes and he throws the ball on first down. It gives you so much more time when you do that. Your offensive linemen all of a sudden get control of the defensive line. The offensive line for the Bears right now is playing excellent football, but it's helped a lot by the calls.
Dennis Lick and Ted Albrecht are the tackles for Chicago. Bodine and Sori are the guards. Dan Neal is the center. It's second down and 10 as Phipps drops to throw. Big rush, swings it out. He's got a man. Dave Williams turns the corner. Good block. And Williams accelerates inside the 45-yard line down to the 35.
Well, I'll tell you, Phipps is alert. This time, this is a screen pass, but even on a screen pass, you'd like to have the guard or tackle get a little bit of a piece of the defensive tackles. Now, Joe Klecko is fast. We haven't seen a lot of him in Phipps' face today, so you have to assume that the offensive guards are playing well against him. But this time, he gets there very quick. An alert play by Williams to look for the ball in time, and they pick up 5 or 6 yards. Could have been nothing.
So now it will be third down and a long 5 for Chicago, 33-yard line of the Jets. Handoff goes, and here comes Walter Payton. And he takes it down to the 30, a gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Payton still holds the NCAA record for scoring points in college. During his career at Jackson State, he scored 464 points.
Interesting situation, Don. Right now, it's 4th down and 2. You kick a field goal, it would have to go 47 yards. They were making that decision on the sideline while we were discussing it. The fans, of course, wanted to go. I think Armstrong made the right decision. A field goal could prove very instrumental before the game's over. They're going to punt it. I guess they feel he hasn't got Thomas doesn't have the leg to get it through from there, right?
Well, he's hit from 55, has Thomas, but right now it looks like those flags are blowing it towards him, so he'd be kicking into kind of a gusting wind. Oh, back gets the ball. They go to the run. And Doug Buffone, the man they call the Papa Bear of this team, the veteran linebacker, takes a look at this.
I wasn't quite sure how it was going to happen, but it didn't compute. I'm a little...
For 8 years, the defensive captain of the Chicago Bears, Doug Buffone, in his 13th year, gets a moment in the sun.
I'll tell you, I helped him develop those hands. You notice he made a pretty good catch from center. I threw him 4 or 5 when he used to play against us in San Francisco. He's been a great player. He's been a very instrumental part of the city, and it's great to see him make a big play.
Only 6 linebackers in NFL history have played in more games than Doug Buffone, and he gives the Bears a first down, so they're challenging again. Pitch back. Walter Payton dances inside, and Payton spinning, turning it down to the 7-yard line. On a first and 10 carry, Walter Payton gets down to the 7. McKibben finally knocked him down 53. Look at him dancing. Look at these legs go in and out. He didn't give you much to shoot at.
Okay. He's got, you know, Williams does a pretty good job. Suggs comes up and actually takes Williams out of the play. Well done by him. How many guys are going to pick up 10 yards on a play that looks like it should be stopped at the line of scrimmage? He did.
Bring up second and less than a yard now for the Chicago Bears. 7-yard line of the New York Jets. Bears leading the game 14-6 and challenging again. Eagle and Watson wide. Here's a big hit by the Jets. Stan Blinka, the middle linebacker, shot the gap. He is a rookie, 5th-round choice out of Sam Houston State in Texas. And Blinka, 54, was there to make the hit.
And he's going to be slow getting up because that was the kind of contact where both players were running full speed when they hit.
We again apologize for those of you having problems with the audio pickup. That area is being worked down. As right now there is 8:10 showing on the third quarter clock. The clock is running. The Bears break the huddle. They were down 6-0, led 14-6 at the half. That's how it stands now. The Bears are looking at the Jets end zone, which is only 8 yards away. 3rd down and 2. Peyton ahead. He didn't get there. On 3rd and 2, the Jets knock it down.
Well, this is going to be very difficult to determine because as Peyton was squirming, I could not hear the whistle, so I don't know if it was blown in time. But before he hit the ground, that ball went up for grabs.
A yard short of it. 4th down comes up. The yard marker moves very close to the chain mark that would be on 1st down to the Chicago Bears. Walt Michael looking on, not much he can do but send his hitters in there, bring up his goal line defense. Here comes the chains out to officially measure.
This is a formality, I think, just to give the Bears a little more time to decide what they're going to do. You can always call for a measurement if it's relatively close. The officials can't turn you down. And if you just stick to your guns, you can see Phipps is giving the coaches time to make a decision as to what kind of play they want to call or whether or not they want to go for it.
So in a sense, you can wisely use the measurement to get a little extra time and timeout.
Simple. It's the old stall game. In tennis, they bounce the ball a few extra times. In basketball, they kind of walk slowly after it. He did a wise thing.
4th down, the Bears are going to go for it. The setbacks to Walter Payton and Dave Williams. 2 tight ends in the game, Latta and Cobb. Power formation. Robin Earl is also in there to block. They go to Payton. Turns upfield. Walter Payton. He's there.
He's got it. It's close, but he's got it, Don.
Number 76, Lawrence Miller, tackle him. But Walter Payton, who bounced back like a greyhound after he went out with that shoulder injury, makes the 1st down carry. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bears just outside the 5-yard line of the Jets.
And remember, they're putting this drive together against good defensive play. The Jets have been in a position to stop their drives time after time. Only outstanding execution on the part of Payton, Phipps, and the offensive line has kept this drive alive.
10 on a 14-yard pass from Sipe to Ozzie Newsome. The New York Jets struck first, missed an extra point, and Chicago has come back with 23 unanswered points. Phipps, 6 yards to Dave Williams. Phipps, 21 yards to Ricky Watts. And, of course, the game you're watching.
And the Steelers and the Chargers are ready to go to work in the 2nd game here on NBC today on most of these NBC stations. You will see it in New York. Pittsburgh, with a 9-2 record, has outscored its last 4 opponents 124-20. They're just crushing people, the Steelers. 1st and goal, Chicago Bears, just outside the Jet 5-yard line. Handoff. Payton, nothing there. Jets still nicely. Pillars was there. Also on the stop was Greg Buttle, number 51. Payton says, good job. He didn't say that earlier when Buttle put him out of the game.
I don't know if he said anything personally, Don. There's not a lot of talking goes on down there, but and of course with a Walter Payton, people are so busy doing their job to get him on the ground that few words are spoken. But the Jets, to their credit, have been very tough to move against.
So the Bears line up in the power formation again. 2nd down and goal from just outside the Jet 5-yard line. Phipps looking in the end zone. Swings a pass. Dave Williams. You remember earlier, Dave Williams looked back at the ball at the other end and couldn't catch it. Looking into the sun, he gets another shot at. Touchdown, Chicago.
All caused because the Jet linebackers and safety men had to be concerned with Payton to get up and help out. When they were, Williams just slips under the block. He is standing all alone. You can see they've got to do something to get on Walter Payton. As they do, he finds a way to get behind Buttles. Buttles concerned with Payton. He's not concerned with the running back. He slips into the end zone for 6.
So Dave Williams came in as a free agent, gets the touchdown, and the Bears open up a 20-6 lead. Bob Thomas' extra point is blocked. And a penalty marker goes down. Bob Thomas went down after the kick.
Now this is strange to me because he got a piece of that ball, and it was just an extension of the kicker's motion.
No penalty. He touched the kick. No penalty. He touched the ball.
That's the good part. Sometimes the officials are picking that flag up, sticking it back in their pocket when they call it wrongly, and that's the way football should be officiated.
Donald Dykes comes in, blocks the ball. Thomas swooned there. He was all right.
Yeah.
You had it, though, Coach Brodie. You had it. We're going to take a break in the action as from high above Soldier Field, you take the aerial look. You never have those Cleveland Browns beaten until that final gun goes off and you got the biggest number because they come from behind, have done so all season. Here at Chicago, the Bears have the ball, 3rd down and 12. Phipps with a deep drop. Stands in against the rush, throws back, and Baschnagel. Brian Baschnagel having his best season. 4-year veteran from Ohio State comes back at the ball and catches it. It's a 1st down for Chicago.
He must feel like he's in heaven because that ball was put on the money. As soon as he turned around, it hit him right between the 8 and the 4. Phipps had real good pressure, threw it over the linebackers, underneath the secondary, in the only spot it could be thrown.
So Baschnagel, as you see, has 3 for 35 yards. And the Bears set up again, 1st down and 10 at the New York Jets 30-yard line. Phipps, quick pitch. Dave Williams turns back upfield. Blockers kicked out on the outside. Linebacker gave him some room, and he got ahead for 4 yards. Stan Blinken made the tackle. The Bears with a 14-point lead, running the clock down now in the 3rd quarter. 1:23 left to go as the Bears huddle at their leisure. Joe Klecko is going to be all right. He was on the sideline smiling, got wind knocked out of him.
If you remember early in the ball game, we saw Doug Plank and Gary Fensick. You know, they were making a lot of moves into the jet running game. The same was true of the Jet defense early in the game. They kind of stopped doing that when Phipps is throwing the ball well.
Straight ahead on 2nd down and 6. They go to Walter Payton. That great change of pace move. He stutter steps and then drives into the Jet defense. That'll bring up 3rd down and short yardage for Chicago. Jets have 4 rookies, as you mentioned, John, in their starting defensive lineup, and a lot of times 5 in the passing down. They'll bring Gastineau in. In fact, Gastineau's in there now. 3rd down and less than 1. Bears have been running the ball at the New York Jets. Payton turns wide. So quick. Looked like he was sealed off, put his head down, drove inside the Jet 20. It's a 1st down for the Bears. Gastineau, 99, knocked him down. That should be the last play of the quarter. A standing salute for the Chicago Bears through 3 quarters of play. Checking things out down there. You get a pencil and paper, we'll give you a moment, then we'll give that Olympic address again. Right now we go to live action. It's 1st and 10 Chicago. 18-yard line of the New York Jets. 4th quarter opening play. Handoff goes to Payton. Turns upfield and Walter Payton takes a hard strike but drives it down to the 15-yard line. That Olympic address again for your tax-deductible contribution to help our American Olympic athletes. U.S. Olympics, Post Office Box 1980T, Cathedral Station, Boston, Massachusetts. Have you over in Moscow, aren't you, John?
Looking forward to it.
Handling those weightlifters?
I'm not going to handle any weights or weightlifters.
NBC's bringing over 700 people to cover the 1980 Summer Games at Moscow. A record 152.5 hours of Olympic television coverage. Pitch back goes to Walter Payton. Turns the corner, lots of Jets after him. Walter took a flying leap out of bounds there. Joe Klecko finally got him.
Okay, here's Gastineau. Simple little block at the point of attack by Robin Earl. All you have to do is get a piece. Then here comes David Williams. He forces Gastineau outside. Payton outruns the angle. And when you saw that possession time of 13 minutes plus in the third quarter. It's very hard to score many touchdowns in a minute and 27 seconds if you're the Jet offense.
Third down and less than a yard now for the Chicago Bears as they're challenging the Jets by running the ball right at them. Chicago's offensive line really firing out on the snap. Second back through, Walter Payton. Up and down low, so he takes it over the top for a first down. Payton brings the ball inside the 8-yard line.
Payton with the handoff.
Cleveland has now rallied back to take the lead from Miami, 14-10, as Sipe has thrown to Newsome for a touchdown. Washington continues to lead Dallas. Cowboys with a second field goal. Green Bay holding to a 3-point lead over Buffalo. And New England executing Baltimore at Foxborough. Patriots must have come away from Denver with some hurt feelings last week.
Well, they'd like to have had a few of these points last week.
Detroit. Nowhere, but they're leading the game 7-0 at the moment in Minnesota. First down and goal now. Payton goes wide, eludes one tackler, and they get him for a loss. Walter Payton is run down for a loss back at about the 11-yard line. Mark Gastineau, 99. Good pass rusher, and Stan Blinka, number 54, the middle linebacker, were on the stop.
And the funny thing is, you're going to watch Gastineau in real hot pursuit. It's not the key. Look in the left corner of your picture. Remember earlier when this is the same play that Payton ran, or McClendon ran for about 30 yards? Same call, same play, except Blinka was able to get in the point of attack and force Payton wide, along with a little help from his defensive line.
Blinka stands in. Gastineau, number 99, is a rookie from East Central Oklahoma. Second-round draft choice. He's a great pass rusher, weighs 268. He runs with the backs. Tips into the end zone. Dave Williams almost had his second. Boy, Phipps, when he goes back to throw, he knows just what he wants to do with it, doesn't he, John?
He does. He had a man down in the end zone who was not open. He came up. He was hoping he could get to Williams all the way. Buttle covered him about as well as he could, but he had his back to the ball, so he figured he had a chance. Now, there is no sun to look into now. The sun has changed during the course of the afternoon. Williams had no problem getting his hands on that ball, just couldn't hold on.
Bob Thomas, who kicked Notre Dame to a national championship win over Alabama in 1973, who's hit on over 66% of his field goals, standing by if the Bears come up short here. It's third and goal from the 11. Phipps looks into the end zone. Close, hits the man, but the Jet defense is there. Williams, coming out of the backfield, was struck in hard by Blinken, by McKibben. 54 and 53. So now Bob Thomas comes out. He's hit 12 of 18 field goal tries. Percentage-wise, he's the best field goal kicker in Bear history. Some 60% of his field goal attempts have been good over the years in his 5th year. Originally drafted by the Rams and cut by them. A lot of pressure brought on by Chicago fans when he had some ups and downs, but Jim Finks, the general manager here, said to get a good place kicker, you've got to stick with him when the things go down. And they did that with Thomas. Now they have a good one. Thomas delivers. He gets it up. He gets it through. So the Chicago Bears extend their lead to 23-6 on the Bob Thomas field goal. We'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment. Walter Payton taking a respite, 9th on the all-time rushing list. Only Jim Brown and O.J. Simpson got to 5,000 yards as fast as Walter Payton did in their rushing career. Walter Payton's next time out will be against Detroit. And of course, on Thursday here on NBC, it'll be Houston and the Dallas Cowboys from Irving, Texas. Texas football and Turkey on Thanksgiving. Two of the good teams, right? Dallas has got something to prove now. They're having their problems. They had one Monday night at home. They're having one today at Washington. And Houston is rolling right now.
Well, I think you hit it, and we're getting a little reaction out of the crowd, but I think Phipps is doing the thing that he feels he should do in this situation. He's not calling the plays, remember, so I'm saying I agree with the coaching staff, but they're going to make New York get back in this ball game. They're not going to give them a big break if they can avoid it. You mentioned Dallas. You've got Washington, Philadelphia, and Dallas. And
don't jump.
And I really think
not that bad.
Dallas is playing the least effective football of those 3 teams right now, and it looks like they're going to be tied for first place. So Dallas is going to have to come off the wall for the first time in quite a while.
Maschnagel goes in motion for the Chicago Bears on 3rd down and 6. The pitch back goes to Willie McClendon. And he rockets on down to the 45-yard line. And be way short of the 1st down. So the Bears will punt with 3:40 left to play. And a player down as we see. Is that McClendon? So with an injured player on the field, the clock is stopped with 3:41 left to play. The Bears will be punting it back to the Jets, and Richard Todd, who has some pretty good numbers but not enough points up on the board today. Todd has thrown the ball 19 times, has completed 13 for 167 yards, threw for a touchdown and ran for 1. We'll be back with the Jets ready to get the ball back, but first we take a break in the action from Soldier Field in Chicago. Thank you, Bryant. Joe Theismann throwing to Clarence Harmon for 10 yards. Another Washington touchdown. Thomas kicks his kickoff out of the end zone. So Harper watches it roll back. Thomas is saluted, and the Jets will go on offense on the touchback 1st and 10 at their 20.
It's right now, Don, that a quarterback has to be concerned with the clock. His team is down by 17 points. They're trying to do anything they can to win. He can't afford to do some of the things in a long drive that he might be able to. He's got to pick something up in a little faster fashion, get them back on the board and get people going, and hope he gets lucky. Then they can get back in.
On 1st and 10, Todd again looks downfield, looking deep. Swings it out. Good throw and a good catch by Clark Gaines out of bounds at the 26. He got ahead for close to 7 yards. The last time the Chicago Bears won an NFL championship was in 1963. Bear fans remember that bitter cold day at Wrigley Field when they beat the New York Giants. That team is being saluted here today, the 1963 champions. Bears have won more NFL titles than any team in the league's history, 9. And they also have more people in the Hall of Fame than any other team. 17 are in Canton. You can be pretty sure 34 is going to be there. That jersey ain't going to be washed and handed out again.
You got it. But the impressive thing, it's the first time in a long time, 3 or 4 years, where I've seen the Bears able to compete in all facets of the game.
And that has been in the recent weeks that they've started to come on. Now the Jets start to run the ball, and breaking into open field is Scott Durking, and he takes the ball all the way down to the 5-yard line. So there's power back, 5'10", 218 pounds from Purdue with good speed, sees the opening, changes direction, and rockets upfield for 22 yards and a 1st down.
Well, Durking makes an outstanding play, and he makes 2 fine decisions. One right here, the play is designed to go outside. He cuts back underneath Fensick, who's in a pretty good position to pursue outside. When he does so, then you can see he really lets Terry Smith have it. He gets up. It's a tough man to handle. He looks like a bowling ball coming at you. They pick up a 1st inside the 5.
Say it's like tackling a Coke machine. 1st and goal for the Jets. Power run. Right back, and Scott Durking puts his nose down and gets it close to the goal line. And the clock runs. 6:35 left to play in the game. The Bears in command, 23-6. So the Jets are going to have to score quickly and get the ball back quickly.
They've still got time, however. Another fine play by Durking. He could have been stuffed right at the point of attack. You can see that's Hampton on the ground, who made a fine play to kind of stuff things up. Didn't stop him, however. He made 5 out of nothing. They've got it on the 1-foot line.
Bears go to the goal line defense. 2nd and goal for the Jets from a yard out. Duke tries the right side. Campbell, Plank, 46 got in there. So did Hampton, 99.
They're sacrificing something, Don, right now. You've noticed Todd has run quarterback sneaks on 2 different occasions today in short yardage. I think he'll do it again because they're taking the linebacker out from right over the front of the quarterback. The short yardage defense, they got everybody stuffed in there with no linebacker. He can go right over the top.
Todd has him down, 3rd and goal from less than a yard. Todd rolls out. He can take it in.
He will. They're pointing to the 1-foot line, which is where his feet went out of bounds, but the ball was over the goal line. It's the same thing that happened early in the game to Jerome Barkham.
1 yard for the touchdown.
See if we can pick it up. In a replay, he's coming across Randy Rasmussen, and he's trying to help by backlogging. He sees nobody up in front to pick off. Fensick comes, tries to make the play, and he never touches his feet in bounds, but look at the ball. It's over the goal line.
He rushed for 1,200 yards as an Alabama quarterback. So on rare occasions they have him call a sweep run like that. That was a called play. We've seen him twice take a third down straight ahead and quarterback sneak. Linhart breaks his missed streak, gets off the turf and sees the hands up. Good news for Tony Linhart. An excellent hold, though. You'll see the snap is high and Matt Robinson gets it. Boy, that holder is important. You did some of that. We'll be back at Soldier Field after this. 43 seconds left to play in the game here at Soldier Field. Big rush, loops it up. Intercepted. That'll put the lock on as Doug Plank brings the ball back. And Plank, as Todd is down now, Hampton said, I didn't do it. Page hit you.
There is a penalty.
That's right. There is a penalty down. What do we have here? Plank intercepted, but let's see what the official ruling is now as a penalty marker went down. Here's the referee, Brent Bright. Pointing at the Jets for grabbing at a face mask.
Right. I can understand. If I'm Richard Todd trying to handle Alan Page, I'm going to grab a face mask too. Get a little frustrated when you've played very good football. Your team is 10 points behind, and I think the real turn in this ball game happened in the third quarter when the Bears had it for 13+ minutes and the Jets had it for 1. No matter how well you play offense, if you don't get the ball more than that, your team's in trouble.
Boy, the Bears own the ball.
On number 14. First down.
So that will nail the lid on. The Bears get the ball. Todd finished the day 17 of 26, 203 yards, 2 interceptions. That one a moment ago to Plank. Sealing this victory for the Bears, which will be their 4th in a row with the Lions coming up, and they're 1-10 at the moment, ours Detroit. Don Strock just threw another touchdown pass for the Miami Dolphins to put them ahead of the Cleveland Browns. Duriel Harris caught the ball. All the scores and highlights are coming up here on NBC. NFL 79 before we go to San Diego on most of these stations for the Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Looks like Shula made the right move at the right time, at least for today.
Now from a 17-17 tie, Miami now leads the game 24-17.
Well, some people had mentioned
That's
earlier.
an unsportsmanlike foul on a 37 on a bench. That's a first down.
Tim Maresco, who doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, had his number called from the bench.
Well, he didn't get in on that one either.
Unsportsmanlike conduct from the bench.
You know, you
might have said the wrong thing, John.
I think on occasion some of us do, and the players don't have any patent on it.
Bears in that prevent offense now. Ball on the ball. Don't fumble. Some teams have. Mike Phipps eases down. Clock ticks. Jets call a timeout. One left, says Neil Armstrong. 28 seconds left to play. So the Bears will extend their record to 7-5 on the season. Not that long ago, it was 3-5.
You bet, and it's the way they've won, not that they've won. They've played, except for Los Angeles, formidable opponents, but not outstanding, not people that were over 500. Today, I think they've shown they've played in every facet of the game the way people in Chicago would like to root for their club to play, and it shows good promise for the future.
Holding that thing like a egg or a little baby.
You bet you hold it close and don't leave any limbs outside the area of the body, because you never know.
Neil Armstrong counting his winnings now, gets a handshake and a well-deserved one. He has his Bears ready, and they're playing a lot better football. They say the playoff teams show it in November. That's when they start to peak. 24 seconds on the game clock. And the Bears come out once again, 3rd down and 15. And it'll be 4th and about 18, because Sips is going to take it and go right down again. Thank you. Springs out now for the Jets. No more timeouts, and the clock winds down, and Chicago Bear fans stand and salute the Bears in their 4th consecutive victory. So the final number is up, and there is the final second. The Chicago Bears defeat the New York Jets 23-13 with the Detroit Lions coming up, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Bears. The Jets head next to Seattle, Washington to go against the Seahawks. Now for John Brodie, this is Don Criqui, and now let's join Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle in New York for NFL 79.
We welcome those of you who've been watching the Bears beat the Jets 23-13 to the NFL 79. Brian Gumbel and Mike Adamle. This is Sunday number 12, and a busy Sunday it's been. Miami's out in front of Cleveland, and the Patriots are routing the Colts. We'll get you caught up on scores and highlights right after these messages from your local station.